Welcome back to another episode of NASCAR Thunder 2004's Modded Career Mode. And after the last race where things did not go to plan, actually the last two races, hopefully at Pocono, things will go a little bit better to plan. You guys should remember and recall at Charlotte, I caused a caution and trapped myself a lap down. Great. And then at Dover, I nearly blew my motor. So actually, I did manage to blow my motor. I blew the motor twice in one race, which was probably not the greatest thing in the world, but it happened, and we now just need to move forward. So Pocono is next, and if you didn't know, I still have the points lead, but it's probably one of the most narrowest points leads we've had in a long time. It's 1 point over Mark Martin, 76 points over Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, John Andretti, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Burton, Tony Stewart, and Matt Kenseth are all a couple 100 points back. So they're not really a threat right now. So if I do somehow mess up today, the good news is that the farthest I can fall will be down to third. And we don't want to be third. We've got a championship to defend, and so far we haven't been able to defend it. However, I do have something that has been, coming up. The new manufacturer trying to come into the sport, Nissan, has reached out to me to provide me a rendered image of one of the other cars on the track. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that rendered car would look like here shortly. Stand by as I show you guys what Joe Aggie's car would look like as a Nissan GTR. So this is the potential number 52 Nissan GTR Skyline. Yeah, that sounds kind of crazy to think about, to think that Nissan would come in, but they've already gone ahead and just rendered a photo saying, hey, take a look at this, tell us if you like it. And since Japan is very big with Crunchyroll and loves their anime, well, it was only right that they put it on the Joe Aggie car for now. This is a potential idea as to what we could see from Nissan. I don't know. I think it looks kind of good. You guys let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Seeing as we're going into Pocono, I want to bring a really good looking car. So we're going to go ahead and bring out the newer, freshest equipment that we have. The stuff that is over 100 condition. Why? In particular is because we don't have our third engine anymore, because the engine has blown twice in one race, and running it at this point would probably just be like racing suicide, especially considering that we are struggling. So I want to go ahead and bring out the best engine, body, and chassis that we have in our shop. I think that would actually help us a little bit more than just trying to keep holding on to things. Plus, we're already overhauling the first, the other Speedway body. The other stuff will come after this race to get, overhauled and or repaired. And hopefully that means that we won't struggle as much. But with a 75 rated car, this is the car that we should have run at Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, and at the last couple of Speedway races. So this actually kind of comes full circle. We're going to Pocono, and as you guys already know, Pocono is one of my favorite tracks right about now in this series. So hopefully it provides us a good run, because we really do need it. The confidence is low in this Pontiac, and hopefully we can somehow work our way back to the front of the field and or be at the front from the very beginning, because qualifying we've struggled, races we've struggled. It's just been a struggle. We got to stop struggling. All right, straight into qualifying here at Pocono. As you guys know, I've readjusted the gear ratio, so we actually run a very long third gear into fourth, which is extremely short. This is the way to run Pocono, in my personal opinion. I love this style of gearing that we put in. I think this is actually the better gearing ratios, and this kind of calls back to the earlier era of Pocono racing, where fourth gear was like your overdrive. 209 down the short chute into the tunnel, and the tunnel was amazing for us last season, so it looks like it's going to be amazing for us again so far. 15th is not looking good. Well, actually, it looks a lot better than before. 215 down the straightaway. Off the corner, down the straightaway.
Good speed. We'll start near the front.
Near the front. 7. What?
in Pennsylvania today at the Pocono Raceway for the Pocono 500. What can we look for on this unusual track, Barney?
Unique is definitely the word for this racetrack. First of all, there are only 3 corners, each of which has completely different banking, which also means there are 3 straightaways. And guess what? They're all different lengths. This is one tough racetrack to prepare a race car for.
Dale Jarrett was part of one of the tightest point battles in NASCAR history in 1997. He ended up finishing second to Jeff Gordon.
And he didn't finish second by much, only 14 points. And Mark Martin wasn't too far behind either. Those last couple of races in a season are pretty exciting when a championship is on the line.
An impressive average finish record for the MB&A car.
Well, points, points, points. Wins are great when they come, but top 10 finishes week after week are what build your points.
So I don't know how, but the guys in front of me ran 48-second laps and I ran a 49.1. I didn't even know 48 seconds was even possible. I'm so confused. Okay, we just gotta lock in. Turn 1 was awesome. I just want to keep the car as clean as possible today. All right, into the lead right now. I think we should be good from here on out. I'm actually going to go ahead and shift up a little bit earlier so that we're not running as much in terms of RPMs. So I don't want to repeat of what happened at Dover. So I'm going to make sure I protect the motor a lot better today. Actually, I might not even shift anymore. We've got the lead, and we've got the lead handily over everybody else. So I think we're fine to just kind of stay in 4th gear, especially since it's going to probably save us on fuel anyway. All right, so we're just going to lock in and click off as many laps as possible, see what happens here at Pocono, and I guess I'll let you guys know if something happens. Right now, let's just relax, sit back, and just enjoy the ride. Jeff Gordon got one heck of a run off of the tunnel into 3 and 4 and actually beat me at the line. He led the last lap. So that sucks, but it's okay. Nice to see that Jeff Gordon is running that same illegal car from, Atlanta, for those that have been watching since the very beginning of this season. So I've just decided to just settle in behind Jeff Gordon for a bit here. We know we've got a car that can pass him, but being in no rush to get by probably seems to be like the best idea so far. Plus, I'm saving some fuel. I'm not really pushing as hard, and with the draft, assistance I'm getting from him, I think this is probably a good idea altogether. The fact that he's got to be going like 215 down the straightaway, by the way, is probably the most interesting thing I have to say, because I was going 215 and wasn't actually catching him down the straightaway. But I can catch him anywhere else on the track. Very interesting to think about. I just caught Jeff Gordon at the end of the straightaway without doing my shifting. Had I shifted off of turn 3 to get into onto the straightaway, I think I would have passed him that lap. I think I should give it a shot. See what happens. Car is wound up. Off of 3. Oh yeah. We got the exact pull that we needed. I got the setup right this time. No distraction. Not as distracted as I was for Dover. So I definitely feel like we've got the best car that we've had in a few weeks. Gonna back off of Jeff Gordon though. Especially considering we're 8 laps in. Halfway would be about lap 16. Car is just a little tight, just a tick tight, not too much. Into the tunnel turn. Ooh, Jeff Gordon pushed me up. Come on, Jeff. Give me some space, man. All the time you have to leave the space. Dude intentionally did that. All right, we got the lead back. We got some, pit window must be open. We got some cars coming down pit road. All right, it's much too early for people to be pitting, but you know what? I think now's the time for me to go ahead and just kind of go for it. start pulling away, putting a gap on the field. That way, if anything happens, we should be fine. Because I think honestly, Jeff Gordon was holding me up a little bit there. Got loose in 3 and, or I'm about to say 3 and 4, guys. Remember now, there is no such thing as turn 4 here at Pocono. It's only 3 turns. Jeff Gordon's back there. I see the 31 in front of me though. Don't block, Robbie.
The 31 car is outside. Number 31 is passing high. You're clear.
Jeremy Mayfield, really?
Fuel tank ought to be about
Really, Jeremy?
far outside. Try to keep him behind you.
Fuel tank's about halfway at lap 11. I think we've definitely saved a lot of fuel. But now I want to chase after some of these lappers.
Run some more.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. That's what I'm concerned about. Now that the tires are starting to wear out just a little bit, I feel like the grip is starting to go away. I think I'm pulling a gap on Jeff Gordon. He might be stuck behind some of that lapper traffic. So he's stuck behind some of the lapped traffic and he's beginning to fall behind. He's like 2 seconds back now. I avoided the wall and Tony Stewart tried to block me into the wall.
The 20 car all over you.
Y'all saw that mess. So things have kind of gone my way so far since a lot of these lap cars came out of pit road. I'm actually gaining each lap on the guys behind me, which means I'm setting a really high pace. Even if the car is getting tight into some of the corners, or even if I miss the point, you know, for the turns, it's still just a high pace right now.
The left rear's getting worn.
See Ricky Craven in a Chevy. Very disappointed that you left me in Pontiac, bro. That's why you getting lapped already.
2 car is going low. All clear, buddy. You haven't got much longer on that left front tire.
Probably shouldn't have said anything. I slid immediately in that corner. That's probably the worst corner we've had so far this race. I think since we're at the halfway point of the race, I think now would be a good idea for me to pit rather than go another lap. So we're going to bring it in this time. Come on, get the car slowed. That was close. I think everything is fine. 4 tires, fuel, half a round down on the wedge. I think we're fine. We don't have any damage to worry about either.
Halfway to the checkered flag.
And right there to the pit stall. Come on. Looking good, team. Keep it up. Come on. 15.4 was the estimate. 15.1.
There's traffic. Take it easy. Got one high. Clear on both sides.
And I came out ahead of the leaders. The same guys I'm fighting against.
Slump high.
Excuse me, Ken Schrader. I don't know where you thought you were about to block, but you weren't finna block this run. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Take it easy on those
Okay.
tires.
We got a car. We got the cars woed up. We're good. We're good, team. We're good. All I know is that if a caution comes out now, we actually would still get the lead because we wouldn't pit.
Got one high. Picked off another position.
So honestly, we're in the net positive.
49.51.
49.51. Perfect. Like my qualifying lap. Just this time with a little bit of draft help. This is what 4 tires can do for y'all. I don't know why y'all are still out here running. Things are just looking, they're looking so much better than the last 2 races. I know I'm probably harping on it a little bit too much, but this actually feels like we're in control, you know? Last couple of races, we just haven't been in control of our own destiny. And I definitely feel like we're in it. Also, with the large number of cars being spread out, this is actually a little bit more like Pocono.
Number 8 is outside. Pit road's getting busy. Leaders are headed in. You're clear. The 43 car is right behind you.
You know, the leaders have no choice but to come in because I'm catching them. I'm putting in lap times that they aren't, and you can definitely tell the difference between old tires and new tires right about now.
49.83. Awesome lap.
I think by the time I get back to Jeff Gordon, it's going to be at least 10 seconds of a gap, maybe even 15, honestly. Because again, I drove off. Like I put a large gap between us. Yeah, I think that early pit stop might have hurt us a little bit on tire wear, but I think the early pit stop also put us in one of those better spots to just kind of drive away from everyone. Like when we came out of pit road and we were still ahead of the leader, you know, we were ahead by miles, you know, and all I had to do was just kind of focus on just getting through people or getting past guys. And since I didn't get held up, I didn't lose as much time, even with being in traffic. So I think that was a good call. Personally, for me, myself, I think that was a good call. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Good call. And when I'm not sitting here making my own mistakes, guys, have you guys noticed that cautions haven't flown as much? AI is making mistakes. They're just not making as many as I would like. I would like to try to bring home a clean car, okay? Like, the cleaner the car, the better, in my opinion. Especially considering we blew a motor. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I'm just thinking it or hallucinating it. But it also feels like my crew chief, you know, he just had 5 more bonus points for leading the most laps. Good job. You know, it sounds almost like he's relieved because we've made it this far while running in the top 5, top 10, you know, with no issue.
Save your tires.
And the last lap is coming. I don't think I need to worry about tires now.
51.47. Good lap. Keep hitting those marks. The white flag is out. One more time around the racetrack. You can either bring back the steering wheel or the trophy. Here's the run to the finish. 1 lap to go. Who wins?
Seriously, can someone answer me how John Andretti keeps reappearing in the top 5 almost every week at this point? Did Kyle Petty or did Richard Petty Enterprises, did they, like, you know, figure it out there? I mean, Kyle said back in 01 when they went to Dodge that it'll take some years before they become, like, you know, like competitors for wins, but they're here every week. And just like that, we've got our own win. Feels so good. Oh my gosh. This time we actually do deserve to celebrate.
A rare caution-free race.
You know, that's pretty amazing. It says a lot about the quality and true talent of these NASCAR Winston Cup drivers.
The MB&A car had a very solid lead coming to the checkered flag.
Well, it's not the most exciting finish for the fans, but I'm sure he's quite happy with the win just the same.
The 53 car has someone new to look out for on race day.
It certainly looks that way. I'm not sure who started everything, but it should be fun to watch over the next couple of races to see what develops.
Oh man, it feels so good getting back into victory lane. Pocono has been good to us for most of this whole entire season or series. First 3 seasons in, and we've done pretty well. We also got a prestige bonus from our secondary out of this one. I definitely am very happy. I know it might not have seemed the most interesting of races. There weren't very many lead changes for the most part. We qualified a lot worse than what the car ran, which is just weird to me, man. I don't know what's been going on lately, but we've got to figure this out. We need to qualify better, but all in all, a good race. We finished first after leading 19 laps, which means we led the most laps in the race, over Jeff Gordon's 13. Jeff Burton, John Andretti, Joe Nemechek round out your top 5. Top 10 includes Mark Martin, Steven as well, Steven W1323. So my teammate got up into the top 10, Matt Kenseth, Dale Jarrett, and Kurt Busch. Joe finishes just outside the top 10 in 11th, behind Kurt Busch. I could have sworn I saw Kurt near the front there for a while, but he did fall back. I think Ford is also going to pick up a considerable amount of points here. Actually, they're only going to pick up enough points in the manufacturer's title for Jeff Burton's 3rd, but Chevy will get the majority of the points with 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Unfortunately, which is okay, all things considered. A little bit further down, Jimmy Johnson finishing 18th, and I was able to lap up until 24th. 23rd was Jeremy Mayfield and Tony Stewart. They kind of got away from me there at the end of the last lap, and that's fine. I wasn't really pushing too hard, especially after I got almost up into the wall. So I'm okay with that. And surprise, surprise, we had no DNFs today. So that's huge for Pocono. No one DNF'd and blew their motors. I'm also somebody that didn't blow a motor, so that actually makes me feel really good for myself. Some of your biggest movers in the race was Joe starting 40th and finishing 11th. Steven starting 39th, finishing 7th. In terms of top, big movers going backwards, I'm just seeing kind of like Jeremy Mayfield going from 6th to 23rd, potentially being the biggest one, with Scott Riggs, probably in the close second, going from 9th to 27th or 37th. I think those are your biggest guys who may have lost out on today's race with the strategies, but it's okay. We'll head back to Georgia and we'll throw some things into the shop because we got some work to do. I kind of forgot that we go from one power track of Pocono to another power track in Michigan. So we might wind up bringing the same exact equipment with us to Michigan, but let's take a look at the series standings, where we have legged out our lead from 1 point to 41 points. So we only gained 40 points on Mark Martin, who is still ever present back there. Rusty Wallace is 154 points back. He was like 71, so he lost a lot of points this race. Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, John Andretti, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and Tony Stewart are currently the top 10. Joe Nemechek has fallen outside the top 10, which means if we were to have done the chase right now, then Joe Nemechek wouldn't be in the chase. So there's still a chance for that number 01 from MBV Motorsports to get up there and maybe make some noise. Who knows? It's just kind of weird, seeing Dale Jr. struggling so bad. Don't really expect that out of a June bug. Greg Biffle also a little bit back there in 26, also struggling. Brian Vickers, Scott Rigg, some guys that you shouldn't see struggling, but they are. Look, luckily for us, I think Steven and Joe have both kind of hit their little strides, so we'll kind of hopefully start seeing them climb the standings. They just had a late start on the season, and I don't think they're ever going to get into points contention for the chase this season, but that's okay. We'll be fine. In the garage, we're going to go ahead and throw in the first wave of the Speedway stuff, which was the stuff that we were using prior to Pocono. So we're going to go ahead and overhaul the first Speedway chassis that we had, and we're going to definitely overhaul that motor that blew twice at Dover, because we need to replace that. We blew the motor not once but twice, as you guys know. And then in terms of cars, bodies, I don't really see anything that we can do. I mean, unless we just want to update the super speedway stuff, which I don't think is a good use of money, honestly. In terms of shop additions, we're one race away from having an extra 10 tire grip, and that's fine. 4 more races left on our sponsors as well, so we've got some things that we need to work on a little bit further off, especially while I'm still in contact with a lot of these manufacturers trying to join in on the sport. So we will have to see what occurs. Speaking of manufacturers, let's take a look at the manufacturers championship. With the win, we are now tied with Dodge. Yep, we're tied with Dodge, but we are 16 points back from Ford, which isn't bad, but I mean, it's pretty bad, especially when first place only gets you 5 points, second place gets you 4, and then 3, 2, and 1 all the way down to 5th. And the more Fords that finish in the top 5, the better they do. So, yay. Yay. Anyways, if you like today's video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time for Michigan here on the channel. Michigan is Steven's home track, by the way. I expect Steven to look pretty good. Easy, everybody.